Was I? Caramon glared at him, but this baleful look from a man being held upside down by his foot simply increased his twin's mirth. Raceland laughed. Until he thought he might have hurt something inside him. The laughter felt good. For a time, it banished the darkness. Lying on the damp ground of the glade illuminated by the light of the flaming trees, Raceland laughed harder, feeling the merriment sparkle through his body like fine wine. And then Caramon joined in. His breathing, his booming bellow, echoing through the forest. Only the falling of blazing bits of tree striking the ground near him recalled Raceland to himself. Wiping his streaming eyes, so weak from laughter he could barely stand, the mage staggered to his feet. With a flick of his hand, he brought forth the little silver dagger. I already read all this. Maybe I should restart it. No. Where did I actually leave off then? The creature was half mad with terror, but Raceland gently stroked its head, it's a rabbit, and murmured soft words. Gradually, the animal grew calm, seemingly almost to be in a trance. Well, we took him alive, Raceland said, his lips twitching. He held up the rabbit. I don't think we'll get much information out of him, however. So red in the face, he gave the impression of having tumbled into a vat of paint. Caramon sat up and began to rub a bruised shoulder. Very funny, he muttered, glancing up at the animal with a shamefaced grin. The flames in the treetops were dying, though the air was filled with smoke. And here and there, the grass was burning. Fortunately, it had been a damp, rainy autumn, so these small fires died quickly. Nice spell, Caramon commented, looking up into the glowing remains of the surrounding treetops. Swearing and groaning, he hauled himself to his feet. I've always liked it. Would that be like a song? Something like a song? Raceland replied wryly. This band taught it to me. Never mind. Where am I? Oh, no, I haven't been doing this. Okay. Where is it? Fizz band, huh? You remember? Looking up into the smoldering trees, he smiled. I think that old man would have appreciated this. Cradling the rabbit in his arms, absently petting the soft, silken ears, Raceland walked from the smoke-filled woods, lulled by the mage's caressing fingers and hypnotic words. The rabbit's eyes closed. Caramon retrieved his sword from the bush where he dropped it and followed, limping slightly. Does that mean looking up people we used to know? Facebook or something? Maybe he's gonna share what's going on. Let's see. This band teaching me a song. Has he inspired me to write a song? Which song? What about them? But no, still writing it. Like none. Probably pen is sword or something like that. This might be the only one he'd tolerate. Lulled by, wait. Cradling the rabbit in his arms, absently patting the soft silken ears, Raceland walked from the smoke-filled woods. I quit smoking, by the way, so hopefully it works, because I would do that. I am doing it. Raceland walked from the smoke-filled woods, lulled by the mage's caressing fingers and hypnotic words. The rabbit's eyes closed. What does that mean? I think because of listening to the people preaching about Jesus today, named the rabbit a male now. Just kidding. Because I get the trip out. Lulled by the mage's pressing fingers and hypnotic words, the rabbit's eyes closed. Caramon retrieved his sword from the brush, where he dropped it and followed, limping slightly. Damn snare cut off my circulation. He shook his foot to get the blood going. Jews were actually doing that to us, I would assume it was another country providing a trail that makes another person guilty. But yeah, I don't think that's happening. Need America to look guilty. I'll do this. Would have been real if somebody was actually evil enough to do something like that. The names are respawning for this girl. I need to kidnap her somehow. I need to plan her future. Cradling the rabbit in his arms. Absently petting the soft. Wait, I already read that part. Sorry. Damn snare cut off my circulation. He shook his foot to try to get the blood going. Heavy clouds had rolled in, blotting out the stars and snuffing Lunitari's flame completely. Can't see the stars, and nobody wants kids. As the flames in the trees died, the woods were plunged in a darkness so thick that neither brother could see the trail ahead. I suppose there is no need for secrecy now, murmured Chirac. No, wait. Raceland murmured, Chirac. So that's something he's said for a really long time. That's like his thing. That's supposed to like light up his staff of magics. That's like showing people my website. Hello, would you guys take a look?
Thank you.
This is for my website. Thank you. Just like that. That's what happens. So, correct. What does that mean? Measuring what's incoming is the letter S. Letter H is trading. Letter I is balancing. I need more people. Check it out. R is heading. A is carrying. K is handing them that piece of paper. I have 2,000 flyers trying to finish handing out today. 2,000. It's seriously a workout because I've been doing this for hours. You know what? I need to create a website that's not mine, just for like somebody else. Just call it Portland something. You know what I mean? And then once it gets a lot of hits, just sell it. Just sell it for a few thousand. That'd be easy money, you know? Anyways, where am I going? What was I doing? Oh yeah, Chirac. The crystal at the top of the staff of Magius began to glow with a bright, magical brilliance. Does that mean you can check out my website? Okay, that's good. The twins returned to their camp in silence. A comfortable silence. a silence they had not shared in years. The only sounds in the night were a restless stirring of their horses, the creak and jingle of Caramon's armor, and the soft rustle of the mage's black robes as he walked. Behind them, once they heard a crash, the falling of the charred branch. That's actually a good idea, though. Yeah? Doing the flyers anyways. Always advertise for this other website, make it like nice, you know? And then just sell it to somebody. Make it for something. Hey, Bobby. How's it going? Who are you? Hello. Hello. The twins returned to their camp in silence. That's why they balk. Idiots. One yip and a woof. The only sounds in the night were the restless stirring of their horses. Stirring of their horses. So, our cars, the creak and jingle of Caramon's armor. Yesterday the theme was horses are cars. The creak and jingle of Caramon's armor and the soft rustle of the mage's black robes as he walked. Behind them, once they heard a crash. The falling of a charred branch. Wait, what? The only sounds of the night were the restless stirring of their horses, the creak and jingle of Caramon's armor. So, creak and jingle, contacting metal, and the soft rustle of the mage's black robes as he walked. And so it's suddenly like opening us up to the possibilities of being with anyone. Behind them, once they heard a crash. The falling of a charred branch. Reaching camp, Caramon ruefully stirred the remains of their fire. They are rekindling their drive. Then glanced up at the rabbit in Raceland's arms. I don't suppose you'd consider that breakfast. I do not eat goblin flesh, Raceland answered with a smile, placing the creature down on the trail. What? At the touch of the cold ground beneath its paws, the rabbit started. Cold ground beneath paws. The rabbit started. Its eyes flared open. Cold ground beneath paws. So paws are on a cat. Is it saying you need to get tested first? Staring around for an instant to get its bearings, it suddenly bolted for the shelter of the woods. What? Shelter of the woods. Okay. Sorry. Caramon heaved a sigh, then chuckling to himself, sat down heavily on the ground near his bedroll. This is not as good as the last one, I'm sorry. Last one was a lot funnier. Removing his boots. So now he's not putting himself in. He rubbed his bruised ankle, so he wasn't thinking about putting himself in somebody else's shoes right there. Bruised ankle means I'm sick of waiting, right? Dulac is what he whispered. Raceland whispered, and the staff went dark. Being nobody checking out my website. D is passing along. U is separating. LAK is working and caring about what's and handing out. Raceland. Okay. He laid it beside the bedroll. Heard that. Then laid down, drawing the blankets up around him. With the return of darkness, the dream was there, waiting. Raceland shuddered. His body suddenly convulsed with chills. Sweat covered his brow. Yeah, I'm seriously sweating. He dared not close his eyes. Yet he was so tired, so exhausted. How many nights had it been since he slept? Caramon, he said softly. Yeah? Caramon answered from the darkness. Do you remember how, when we were children, I'd have those horrible dreams? His voice failed him for a moment. He coughed. There was no sound from his twin. That seems... I used to have really, really bad trips. And my brother knows this. I'd have panic attacks. He used to too, actually. When my friend died. Before he died, actually. Really made sense what he used to trip out about too. Connected to my friend dying there. And the location of his bed becoming a kitchen sink later. Made it hard to sleep. Something like that could cause sudden baby death syndrome, maybe. Because by a very, very small number, it does affect people. It's not really that noticeable, but for somebody spending like a lot of time there, it would be. Maybe not. There was no sound from his twin. Raceland cleared his throat. I feel like I don't want to talk anymore. It kind of hurts. Then whispered, And you'd guard my sleep, my brother. You kept them away. I remember, came a muffled, husky voice. Caramon Raceland began, but he could not finish. The pain and weariness were too much. The darkness seemed to close in. The dream crept from its hiding place. And then there was the jingle of armor. Contacting everyone, that means. A big hulking shadow appeared beside him. Leather creaking. Caramon sat down beside his brother, resting his broad back against a tree trunk and laying his naked sword across his knees. What? Resting his broad back against a tree trunk and laying his naked sword across his knees. Go to sleep, Race, Caramon said gently. The mage felt a rough, clumsy hand pat him on the shoulder. I'll stay up and keep watch. Wrapping himself up in his blankets, Raceland closed his eyes. Sleep, sweet and restful, stole upon him. The last thing he remembered was the fleeting fancy of the dream approaching, reaching out its bony hands to grasp him, only to be driven back by the light from Caramon's sword. I feel like that's warning me to be careful about my files, my ex-girlfriend, and sharing stuff with other people. It is seriously, this tree burning, it is seriously hot.
Hello?
Hi. Just gonna do this to you. With you. Okay. So check it out. Pretty cool story. Sorry, kind of tired. Didn't really care to do the playing fantasy trip part of it. Just kind of too tired. I'll do better next time. Okay. I guess there was the Shrek moment. That worked.